Y'all, like, Emily Henry is doing something with this one. I just love this author's writing, so I am just so excited to start this one. The reading plans, they're all over the place, so you know, bear with me. That's just how this goes. You clean it up, you mess it up, you clean it up. So I'm just like, isn't that all readers? You know, when we read a really good book, we're just like, please read this book. Like, drop everything. I will handle it for you. I don't want the happy ending of her ending. I want... Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, hi, hello, how are you? My name is Valisa, and I'm so happy that you decided to stop by. Okay y'all, so today's video is going to be another reading vlog. Your girl is trying to tackle her TBR card. I am trying to dwindle down some of these books so I can replace them with some new books that I recently got. So that is the goal for this video, is just to read some books off of my TBR card and reading some books on my Kindle. We want to make sure we are constantly reading a Kindle book at all times. Like, I really just want to make sure I am using my Kindle and not just like reading my physical books. So your girl is going to try to do both of those. So let's just go ahead and get into the TBR for this video. So the first book up is going to be the one that I'm reading on my Kindle, which is going to be Flawless. So I haven't picked up Flawless since I mentioned it in my cowboy romance reading vlog, and I'll have that linked above. So if you want to check that out, by all means, feel free to check that one out. But yeah, so for those that don't know what Flawless is about, it's going to be a cowboy romance. Our leading guy is a bull rider, but he finds himself in a pickle when he says something that really upsets his sponsor. And so his agent winds up sending his daughter to kind of supervise him and rebuild his image into this like good boy, because now he's kind of titled as like this ungrateful bad boy of the bull riding community. So our girl winds up having to go to his town, have to monitor him and kind of make sure that he's keeping his image clean. And along the way, of course, since it's a romance, there's definitely going to be some romance there. So I wind up stopping about at the, I would say 15% point. I read like 5 chapters into this, and I am really enjoying it already. I'm like, feel like I'm becoming a cowboy romance girly now, which, you know, shocker for me at least, but like also not really. But I have been enjoying this one, so I am excited to continue reading it. It is like a chunky one, even though it's like on my Kindle and I feel like I can fly through it a little bit faster. I have seen the physical copy of this book, and it is kind of chunky, and I don't know why that is like low-key becoming a little thing with these 400 almost 500 plus romance books. Like they always supposed to be short and sweet. They're not supposed to be like this long. But I don't know, I'm reading on my Kindle, so I'm like, is it as long as I think it is, type of thing, you know, because anything you read on your Kindle, it feels much shorter than it really is. Okay, so that is the only ebook that I have at the moment. The next book that I have that I'm really excited about, because this is like kind of, I don't know if this is like a new era of like romances that are coming up, or this is just like a one-off, but I'm really excited about it. And that is going to be Cross the Line. Here is the cute little stunning cover of it. I literally picked it up because it said it's a Formula One romance, so I'm not really sure like what this is about. It just says her brother's best friend sends her heart racing in a sparkling Formula One romance. It just sounds so cute. So I really don't know too much, and I don't want to read the summary at the moment. I'm sure I read it at the moment, but yeah, this cover got me, that little blurb got me, and yeah, I'm just really excited to read this one. And then the other two are going to be rereads for me, but they are on my TBR card, so I want to like go ahead and start reading them so I can like also finish the series. For at least this one is going to be I Hate Fairyland Volume 1. So this book is pretty much about like this girl who wound up falling into fairyland when she was a child, and the whole purpose of fairyland was for you just to have like this childhood memory. You go through it, you figure out a couple of riddles and then you go home. But our girl is not good at riddles, and she's been there for 30 years now. So now she is a very upset, like a 35-year-old in fairyland, and she has just been wreaking havoc all over the place because of it. She hates that she's stuck here. She hates that she doesn't understand their riddles and that they picked her out of all people to come down to fairyland. So this is a reread for me. I love this so much. I read all the way up to, I believe, like volume 4 of this series, but like apparently 2 other volumes have came out as well since I last read this, because I thought that was the end of it, but surprise, surprise, there's actually more, and I'm excited about that because the way that the other one ended, I was like, how is there more? So this is just me refreshing my memory on this series, and therefore I can read the new volumes and finish it. And the other reread is going to be a Saga. This is going to be volume 1. This is a sci-fi fantasy one, and it's pretty much going to be about like this family as they're traveling through the universe, because the parents' love is like forbidden. They're arch enemies, pretty much, like both of their populations are arch enemies, and then they wind up falling in love and having a baby, which is like changing absolutely everything in the universe. So we've just been following them while they're kind of like on the run from like universe police that is after them because of this, because they said this is not a great sign. We don't want people believing that we can get along to that level. So I am really excited to continue on with this series. I just remember like really liking this, especially like the family dynamics. There's a volume that made me like super emotional, so I am excited about it. I will say, if you are interested in picking up this series, that it's kind of like an HBO series. You know how like the HBO series, for some reason, the first season just has like so much like sexual content that's like really not needed, and it's kind of like the plot though is so good, so all of that need to like tone down so we can focus on the plot. Is kind of what this one is too. There's like some moments where it's just like, yeah, that's not really needed, could actually do without that, tone that down, and we can still get the message through. So just want to give you like a warning about that as well, because this is actually like a really good series. It's just that unfortunately like the first volume does have like a lot of that, so I just wanted to go ahead and let the girlies know about it. But like, you know, it's a book, so you can always just like flip past those pages or whatever and enjoy it, because I feel like the whole overarching message so far in this series has been really good. But yeah, so those are the books that I know I will be able to like read a good chunk of. I also have Happy Place because I want to finish reading this book before the summer is over with. So this will be my second to the last Emily Henry book I need to read, and then I would have read all of her books. But Happy Place, I believe, is going to be about like this couple who breaks up, but then they still have to go on this group friend vacation that they've always gone on, and they don't want to like ruin it by letting their friends know that they've broken up, so they're just going to pretend like they are still together. So that just sounds like it's going to be a very interesting time, because the trip is for like a whole entire week, so they're going to have to fake date each other for a whole entire week because they don't want to like upset their friends. Libby told me that they have the audiobook that will be coming like soon. Like they have a lot of copies, so I'm like, I should be able to get one soon. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get that one and I can read along with it, because I do want to have like an audiobook. I feel like I have just a lot of straight physical, my eyeballs have to be looking at the page books going on. So if I can get one that I can listen on audio as well as read physical, that's what I want to do. So I'm hoping that that audiobook will come through soon. That is all the books that are on my TBR. I am really excited to get to these because yes, some of these rereads are like 5 stars. Like I gave Saga and I Hate Fairyland the first time I read them like 5 stars, so I already know it's gonna be a good time. So I'm just really excited about that. But yeah, that is the TBR for this video, and I will check back in with y'all when I have another reading update. y'all, so I am back with a reading update because I was able to finish both I Hate Fairyland as well as volume 1 of Saga, and y'all, I like these for a reason. These are so good. I guess we'll start with this one. I finished I Hate Fairyland first. Once again, it's just a crazy good time. Our girl Gertrude is just like going berserk throughout Fairyland, doing all types of shenanigans, and it's just such a fun, wild read. I will say with my second time like going through this, I do realize there's not like a lot of like details, I would say, about like how she defeats certain villains, right? Like there's people who are like chasing her who want to kill her because they're tired of her like ruining Fairyland for them, but like we never see how she does it. We always just get like the aftermath of it in a lot of like the bigger cases. Like there was like this huntsman that was after her, there was like this huge amount of like zombies trying to kill her, and but somehow the chapter always ends with her just like, oh crap, like all these people are after me, and then the very next chapter she's defeated them. So I, looking back, my second read with this, I'm like, I would like some justification besides just the fact that she's Gertrude, so of course she's gonna win type of thing, because there is some build up to these people like going after her. So I would have appreciated just a little bit more of that. But overall, this was good. I knew how it ended, but I forgot what led up to that ending. And there's this other character that's brought up towards the end of this, and I completely forgot about this character. So I was like, wait, who are they? But now I remember them, and I'm just like really excited to continue on with this graphic novel. I would say with my reread, I gave this like 5 stars the first time I read it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let it keep its 5 stars because the little things that stood out to me like this second time around aren't that big of a deal. Like the vibes are still vibing. I still liked it. I think one of my favorite things too about this one is just like how colorful it is in contrast to like how violent it is too. So I really just enjoyed this one a lot. I think it is a good time if you're looking for like a graphic novel that is like different than all the rest of them. Also having a little nostalgia to it as well, because I mean it's Fairyland and it kind of reminds me of like the game Candyland and everything. So it is like a good time. I really enjoyed this one. I'm excited to read the next volume, so I'm probably going to read the next volume of this in this reading vlog as well, just because I want to keep that momentum. So I'm gonna like incorporate this into my reading vlog. And the other graphic novel was Saga. Like I mentioned, this is going to be volume 1. Once again, just a stunning graphic novel. Now that I was able to reread it, there are like parts in there there's like graphic, so I would just like suggest flipping through those. If like just flip through those. There's like no dialogue or anything that really like helps with the story. It's just that one of our characters just has to go there because he has to meet this other character that is part of the story. It's just, that's pretty much it. So you can just like flip clean through that. It does not provide like really anything major to the story. Like flipping past it, you still know like what is important. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there, because I know like, you know, sometimes you just don't want all that. Like you just want to enjoy the book. So I do want to go ahead and put that out there. But overall, this was so good. And that is like one of the, reading this after reading Fairyland, it showed me like a little bit of like plot hopping and plot gaps that was in Fairyland, because I'm like, this is so well done. Like I'm obsessed. Like I love this so much. Like the character development of our 2 leading characters here, Alana and Marco, stunning. We haven't even really deep dive into like who they are as characters. Like those come a little bit later on in volume. Right now we just know them right here, right now, and it's just so good. Like I'm already so obsessed with Marco. I remember loving Marco so much and loving Alana so much as well. So it's just like all those feels came back. I was literally smiling while I was reading this. I was like, oh my gosh, I knew I liked them for a reason. Like, oh, this is such a stunning graphic novel. I mean, it's so well done. We're following them. The story's being told through their daughter's perspective, so she has her narrations that's happening alongside it. It's just perfect. We have this jumping back and forth between like them two as well as like other storylines that are going on. So they have some assassins that are hunting them down, and we're jumping from that assassins, and then we have like the royal person, like royal robot, who is over this huge planet that Alana is like from. And so So we're jumping from like 3 different perspectives, but it's done in such a great pacing. Like, y'all, I love this so much. When I tell y'all that, I just love it so much. That's the reason why I'm just like giving out those disclaimers, because I don't want anybody to like pick this up and like she loved it and it's like, ooh, wait, it's like a little graphic and I'm not into that. Like, please flip through it and take in the heart of this story, because the heart of this story is just so good. It's just about like family and peace and like not having to conform to what you've always been raised to believe, and like war, and just so much. Like, it just talks about so much. It's a huge deep dive, and then the way that it's being done with like these characters that have like television heads and you have like these wings, like these characters are so weird as well, because it's like a fantasy sci-fi, but the story, the heart of the story is so good, and our leading characters are just so good. And just, yeah, y'all, this of course is remaining a 5-star, as she deserves. Okay, and then there's Cross the Line. I did not read anything from this one. I finished those 2 graphic novels instead, so I do plan on reading this and hopefully getting like 5 chapters into it, and give y'all back like a little update on that one. But yeah, just want to let you know she hasn't started, but I'm going to prioritize her for first, read at least 5 chapters in here, or just read this one today, and then tomorrow I'll read the second volumes of those 2 graphic novels. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to read this one, but we do have another book that's added to the TBR, which means Flawless is probably going to fall to the back side probably, and that is going to be The Partner Plot. This is going to be the second book from The Neighbor Favor. So we were following like these 3 sisters, and this is the second sister whose storyline we're following in this one. She had a hard time in The Neighbor Favor, and this time we get to see like things come up for her. So I'm really excited. It's going to be taking place in Las Vegas. Our girl is going to be in a fake marriage with one of her childhood sweethearts, so this is going to be a fun time. I'm really excited about this marriage of convenience, because I read the summary and our leading guy seems like so sweet. He's a teacher and he's just like so amazed that our girl chose him to do this with. So he's just like, oh my gosh. And of course, like, he is like actually in love with her, and she's just like, what is happening? I had like a horrible experience with love. I don't know if that's gonna be an option, so I'm really excited to explore this one. This wound up getting put on the list, y'all, last minute, because my buddy that I'm going to be buddying reading this with finally got their Libby hole came through, so they were like, let's read this now. And I'm like, okay, say less. Of course we're gonna read this together. So I'm really excited to start this one. And like I mentioned in like a previous vlog, I just love this author's writing, so I am just so excited to start this one. So all right, so that is our reading update. Today we are prioritizing Cross the Line, and then I am hoping to read volume 1 and 2 of Saga and I Hate Fairyland after I reach at least 5 chapters in that book. But yeah, y'all, that is my update. I need to go, but I will check back in with y'all again when I have another one, and off to the races we go. Alright y'all, so I am back with a reading update because I was able to read the first 5 chapters and cross the line, and so far I don't know. We are still trying to like get to know these characters. So it is dual POV, so we have been introduced to our leading girl Willow. And Willow, I like Willow. I don't have a problem with Willow or anything. You know, girlie's out here trying to be successful in her career. She's struggling, she's burning her macaroons, so you know, she's trying. So there is that with her, as well as our girl also has a chronic health condition as well. So that was a interesting fact that I did not expect our girl to have, but you know, that representation is in here as well. And we have been introduced to our girl's like brother. He's also like a former Formula One driver. I'm still trying to figure out how that world works. So our girl is like very much into sports. She loves every single type of sport as well as Formula One, but they mentioned like Formula 3, and then they mentioned like race car or NASCAR racing and stuff. So I'm still trying to get my footing on just like what is the difference between all of that. I didn't even know there was like multiple formulas. I thought it was just like Formula One and then NASCAR. But apparently there's like multiple formulas and everything. But anyways, so pretty much we've been introduced to them, and then we got introduced to our leading guy whose name is Dev, and he's the one that I'm not quite settled on. So like the writer is making it clear, like, you know, he's a confident driver, he's very confident in like who he is as a person and everything, but it definitely comes off like cocky, and not the best type of cocky either. So it's just like the way like his inner monologue is, like I can see if he's like talking a certain way because he's trying to have that persona, because it's expected of him to have it, but like even his inner dialogue like with himself is coming off a little bit like that. So I'm just like, adjustments need to be made. I feel like some adjustments need to be made in regards to his character, just on like that end. It's not to the point that it's like horrible and unbearable, but I'm seeing if we don't get a shift, this could get annoying type of situation. But yeah, that is that at the moment. Only 5 chapters in, so there's always time for like this to improve a little bit more, or for me to not be like as annoyed with it as well. But yeah, that is just something that stood out to me so far in these first 5 chapters of it. I'm also curious to know if like maybe this would be like a duology, because her brother did get like a lot of time, but that could just be because like they're best friends, like the leading guy's like best friends, and this is a brother's best friend romance thing situation. So that could also just be that as well. And I'm just like in this whole romance series type of things where I'm like, no, can't be a standalone. We have to get to know every single person that was ever mentioned in this entire book. I'm probably gonna read probably maybe 5 more chapters again, potentially. The chapters aren't really that long. Those 5 chapters was like 41 pages, so it's not like super long chapters. But the maybe's coming in because Livy let me know that my audiobook for Happy Place just came in. So like y'all, the reading plans, they're all over the place, so you know, bear with me. Our reading plans have gone everywhere. I'm like, I'm picking up this book, I'm picking up that book's being set down, so we're just flowing with it, you know. So Happy Place, Libby let me know that the audiobook has came in, which is like honestly perfect timing because I have some chores and stuff to do, and I was like, I don't have an audiobook to listen to or anything while I'm doing all of this, so I guess I'm just gonna have to listen to some music. But long and behold, this audiobook came through, so I will be listening to this one on audio predominantly, and I might like read along with it here and there if I just want to have like a cute sit down reading moment with this book. But yeah, so I officially have the audiobook for this. I'm really excited because like I mentioned before, I just have this book and one other Emily Henry book, and then I would have read all of her books, so I am super excited for that. But yeah, so this is now like up on the radar. I'm probably gonna start reading this one before I read 5 more chapters of Cross the Line. But also today's the day that I start my buddy read of The Partner Plot, so that just means a girly, it's TBR, really got a lot going on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish reading any of these books, but I definitely do want to be able to like give you guys like some updates about them, or at least let you know like how I'm feeling about these books, because I do have the other 2 volumes of Saga and I Hate Fairyland that I want to read as well. Oh, it's just so fun, the aspirations that I have. Like literally all of these books, I just finished cleaning up my Goodreads and here I am filling it up again with all of this in the current reads now popping up on my Goodreads. But you know, it's just, that's just how this goes. You clean it up, you mess it up, you clean it up. So it will probably be another let's clean up my Goodreads video coming out soon, probably, with all of these books that I'm adding onto my TBR. But I just, you know, these books are so pretty. Like I just love the covers of this one. Like I really love the cover of this one, so I really want this to like get it together. And then the other 2, they're both pink, and you know, a girl, I love a good pink book, so I am not upset about this at all. I just, you know, I just need to be able to read all of them. It's my thing. And I also need to like get back into doing some of my journal spreads, and then I haven't played my game in like quite a minute, so it's a whole to do that needs to be done. So it's just, we're juggling things. But yeah, that is my reading update at the moment. I will check back in with y'all again once I have another one. Hi y'all, I'm back with another reading update because I have been able to make progress in 3 books, so I'm really excited to give you all an update on what I've been able to read. So I have officially started the partner plot, y'all, and yes, I am loving it just as much as I have loved The Neighbor Favor, and this is off to just a great start. One thing about Miss Kristina Forrest, she is going to lay down like a quick solid background for her couples to have you rooting for them, because she did it in The Neighbor Favor. It was like between their emails, and in this one we get like a 25-page history of like how they first met in high school and their little journey and everything. And so she really know how to just hook you. So I'm just like, I'm invested now. I am rooting for our 2 main characters. We are almost halfway through the things that happen in the summary. So our girl is in Las Vegas. Our guy has won a trip to Las Vegas at the moment, and he just found out that she is there at the same time, but she hasn't seen him yet. But yeah, I have just been enjoying this. I love that like also our leading guy is like a little nerd, because like in high school he was like Mr. Popular, he was breaking the rules, he was a star basketball player, like all of these things, and now here he is at like 29 trying to go to the club in a sweater vest. Like, it is so funny that he is like a whole nerd right now. Meanwhile, our leading girl, she is still just who she said she was going to be. Like all of her dreams that she said she was going to have in high school, she is having right now, and I just love that for her. And I'm really excited for them to like get back together too, because they were such a cute little sweet little couple when they were just like youngins and everything. So I'm excited to see them as adults. So I wind up stopping, yeah, I'm only about like 50 pages into this. We have another reading goal, which should take me to another like 50 to 60ish pages in this book, and I'm just so excited. So our leading girl, out of the 3 sisters, this is the middle child, so we just need the oldest sister's book, and the cover has been revealed for that one. So I'm really excited for this journey. I just don't know what I'm gonna do once I finish this, because then I have to wait all the way to next year for the next one to come out, and that's just gonna be so hard because I am really enjoying it. I just feel like she makes such cute, easy to read romances, and this is like what, my 2nd book that I'm only like 40 pages into, and I'm already like, this is what she does. She writes such great, but like I know, like I know I know without finishing this book that I am really going to enjoy this book. So now I want like special editions of it, like I did with the Brown sisters, because this is it. This is such like a sweet book, and I'm really excited to continue on with this, because I don't know how they're gonna still wind up getting married, y'all. Like, we have maybe in the next 2 or 3 chapters they're gonna have to get married, because they're already in Vegas. So I'm really interested in seeing how that's gonna like happen, and I know she's gonna do it in a way that's gonna make sense, hopefully. I'm having the faith. Okay, and these other 2 books I have been listening on audio. So the first one up is going to be Happy Place. Y'all, like, Emily Henry is doing something with this one. I don't know, like, I'm really starting to think People We Meet on Vacation was just like a dud. Like, I'm starting to think that was a dud or something, because I really love Funny Story, and now I'm reading Happy Place, and I am really loving this one too. I am 65 pages into this one already, and I love it. I also just want to talk about that. I just feel like whoever is like marketing her books or whatever for her, every time like this book is presented, it's just not presented in the vibes that it's giving. I feel like it's just like what's being like shown and like marketed, it's always just like a really small piece of like what this book is giving, because I am loving this so much, y'all. Like, it is just so good. So pretty much they have officially arrived at like the vacation home, and it is up for sale. Everything I'm telling you is like in the summary. I just now have a better grasp of the summary, because this was a long summary and then it was in small font. Like, no ma'am, I was not gonna read all that. That's literally a page in this book that I could have read, which would be making progress towards me finishing this book. So I did not read the summary. Very well. So now that I have I can say that like they're officially at the vacation home, and the secret has came out that her friend is having to sell it, like her dad is having to sell their vacation home that they always used and everything, and now they have to keep up this front because they made another announcement as well, and they're just like, look, we can't tell nobody, we have been over for months, because it will just ruin every single thing. So we're just gonna pretend like this is, we're good, we're cool, we're Gucci over here, and just try to make it through this weekend. And I'm loving that because they hate each other so much, like right off the back. Like she has so much inner hate dialogue towards this man. It's comical, but like also tea, because what happened to the point that they hate each other this much? Because another thing that's going on in this is the fact that we get dual timeline is happening. So we get to see them back in the day, and then we get to see them now in the present, and past them I'm like, okay, they're so cute together. Like, what is happening? Why are y'all mad at each other? Why are y'all breaking up? I'm sad. Like, type of situation is going on, because I liked them so much in the past. So the fact that they hate each other so much now is just like, sir, what did you do? Like, why is she so mad at you? But like, also he's like very mad as well. So I am very interested in seeing how this is going to go. Also, now I totally understand why it's called Happy Place. I feel like I didn't understand why this was called Happy Place, but once you pick this book up and you start reading this book, she tells y'all that Happy Place is just the name of the vacation. Like, people tell you to like, okay, go to your happy place. Our girl goes to this vacation in her mind, this vacation home in her mind. And I was like, oh, that is literally so sweet. And now this title makes so much sense. Also, our girly pop is like a brain genius, aka she's going to be like a neurosurgeon. I'm like, she is so smart too. And I love also low-key when a leading girl is like in the health field. I just enjoy that so much. So the fact that this is like snuck up on me that she is a neurosurgeon, I'm like, okay, yes please, I am loving this. I don't know what our leading guy does. Like, even when they were talking about it in the past, he was pretty much saying like he was failing everything. So I'm not quite sure how he's keeping a roof over his head or anything. Maybe we'll find that out a little bit later on. But yeah, so far y'all, I've just been enjoying this. Also, I meant to say I'm listening to it on audio, and the narrator that narrates this book also was the narrator that did Malibu Rising. And so I'm going to put her name up here. I can't recall at the moment, but I'll have her name up here. But she's definitely on my radar for like good narrators. So she's doing like all, so I pulled her up and everything and see what type of books that she was a part of. And apparently she's doing all of Emily Henry's books moving forward, and then she's also doing all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, because I was like, this woman sounds so familiar. Like, what book do I know her from? And then it's so funny because she did Malibu Rising, like I mentioned, and I literally just finished reading Malibu Rising not that long ago. So it's just very funny to me because like I feel like that may be having something to do with the enjoyment of this book as well, because I think she's a really great narrator as well, because in Malibu Rising I feel like that she helped give it more oomph to it, and that's what she's doing with this as well. So needless to say, I like that narrator. She does a great job. I'm excited that she's like doing all the Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I have like 2 more Taylor Jenkins Reid's books I need to read before I've read all of hers, and so the fact that she's narrating those 2, I'm going to listen to those as well eventually once I get around to them, because I feel like reading her backlist physically have been a little tasking. So this may make it a little bit more enjoyable if I listen to it on audio. But I just wanted to put that out there for all of the audiobook girlies. If you're looking for someone who's good with narration, is that a word? Anyways, if you're looking for someone, here she is. And the next book, which is also the only book that this narrator didn't do for Taylor Jenkins Reid, is going to be Carrie Soto is Back. So Yes, I have officially started this. My buddy was like, today's the day. We're going to start this. So I have read this, and I was listening to this while I was just cleaning the kitchen and everything and just doing some chores around the house. And so I am 118 pages into this, and yes. Okay, like, am I a sports girly? No, I don't hate sports, but I don't seek out sports. If sports finds me, I won't push it away. That's my stand on sports. And so sports have found me through this book, and I am enjoying it like so much. It's a lot of like tennis talk, but it's the way that like you're also getting to know these characters through it, like their thought process while they're training, their thought process while they're in the competitions, while they're in the media. Like you get to learn all of that. So far in this book, we have gotten like a history. We have gotten the history of who Carrie Soto is. So it started when she was like a young child, and so we find out who she is, like why isn't her mother mentioned in this book, and we just get to know like her relationship with her dad in tennis and how that was like a major thing that helped connect them and help them to kind of in a way survive her mother passing away. So we've just been following her through that all the way to her teen years, all the way till she becomes a young adult, all the way to she retiring, and now that she's back on her comeback. So in those 100 pages, we have gained a lot of information. Like everything I was telling y'all, like it happened in those 100 pages. I didn't even read like the summary for this one because I just remember, okay, it had something to do with tennis. So I'm guessing we have found our way almost halfway through the summary. Yeah, so everything in the summary has happened in this book. So I am really excited to just go ahead and continue on, because now we're going into territory that I haven't heard anything about. No one's mentioned and everything. And I also want to say about like all of the tennis talk and stuff, since I know that's like a major thing, and if you're not into sports, the last thing you want to do is read a book about sports. So I will say it's not very detailed like with it. We're not talking about how they hold their racket and going into like a lot of technique talk. It's more like that is the center of it all, so it has to be mentioned, but it's the things that are tied to the center of it all, if that is making sense. Hopefully it is. But yeah, I've just, you know, I've been just enjoying this. I feel like I needed to read some more of just like today Taylor Jenkins reads, to be reminded that like she is a good author. Because y'all, when I tell you some of the backlist had me questioning, it had me questioning. So I'm really excited to be reading this. Also, our leading girl, her dad is from Argentina, so she speaks Spanish sometimes in here just due to her dad, and that's how they communicate, which I think is like really sweet. I like that that's like sprinkled in here as well. If you don't know, Carrie Soto is mentioned in Malibu Rising. I guess it's like the short-lived love that like a lot of people had for Carrie Soto in Malibu Rising when she makes her appearance, calls this book to kind of make its way into the world. So that whole scene that happens in Malibu Rising, when I tell you it's glossed over, it's a footnote. Like that's how it comes off. Like it is nothing major mentioned at all. It's literally as we're progressing through her storyline, she just mentions that she dated him. He tried to go back and get back with his wife, and then she turned it down. He came back to her, and then, you know, he left her in December type of thing. Like it is a very quick boom 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 mention, which I liked, because it's like, oh yeah, this is where she came from if you forgot. But like also, girl had a huge like appearance moment in that book, so it was interesting for it to have such a major part in Malibu Rising but such a brief part in her story. So just wanted to mention that as well. But yeah, I don't know how this book is gonna turn out. Like a part of me wants her to have her comeback moment and wants her to win this game, but the other part of me is just like, no, like I don't want her to win. Like I don't want the happy ending of her ending. I want something a little bit more realistic, because she has been out of the game for 5 years. She is 37, trying to have this comeback season. How is she going to beat the #1 girl who is like, I think she's 28 or so, who's been playing this, and like her dad was explaining, like she hasn't had to get any surgery. She hasn't been really having as many injuries. So to me, if she beats her, I don't know how believable that would be. you know, but I am here for the comeback season and to see girly pop try. Okay, so that is my reading update for the moment. So your girl's in the middle of 3 solid books. I didn't read any more of Cross the Line. I just, you know, the other 3 books, 2 of them are buddy reads that I'm doing. And then Happy Place literally just caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I like her. So I have just been really reading that one. And Cross the Line has like slowly found her way in the back. But like I said, I still want to read the 2nd volume of I Hate Fairyland and the 2nd volume of Saga. So now that I'm finished catching up to those, I still have to read some more of the Partner Plot tonight. But I do just want to like chill out and read some of my graphic novel. So that is my plan at the moment. So that is my reading update. Why am I tired? It's because I cleaned the kitchen and the living room and everything. That is why I'm tired. But yeah, that is my reading update at the moment, and I will check back in with y'all later. Bye. y'all, so I'm back with another reading update. I was able to finish volume 2 of I Hate Fairyland, and this was so much fun. I feel like honestly this whole series is just like a vibe. I'm really excited to read the newer volumes to see if they're the same as this one, but this was really just a fun time. I would say like this is kind of just like a space filler in a certain way because I remember how the rest of the series progresses on, but it kind of just needed to lay down some foundation to enter in some new characters and get to know who these characters are and why they're going to be who they are in the next volumes, and that's laid down pretty well in this one. I love that it's just still that chaos is going on in this. Our girl is still wreaking havoc over everything despite how the first one ended. Also, the way that we left on like a cliffhanger in the first one, it immediately like picks up a few months after that, and as expected, our girl is just doing a horrible job of just every single thing. So it's just very interesting to see how she ruins everything, but she just does not care because she does not want to be in fairyland at all. But we are starting to get a little bit of connection of the real world and fairyland, which was a nice little twist that happens in here. I don't want to talk too much about it because then you'll know, you start entering spoiling territory, but I think the first time I read this I gave it like 4.5 stars, and I feel like I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit there. Maybe it can be a 4-star, I don't know. I did feel like the pacing was a little awkward this second time around because I can pay attention a little bit more. When you're first reading this, it is such a chaotic good time, but the second time going through this, I can see like the pacing is a little off, especially in the beginning of it, and then the story progresses in a certain way that I'm like, how did we get here type of thing as well. But overall, like I said, I feel like it's such a great time. The artwork in here is so fun and colorful, but like look at the artwork, it's just so colorful. I love Scotty Young's artwork. It's just so stunning, and so I have really been enjoying it just for that alone, but it has really been a great time. The rest of the books I've only been able to make progress in, but I am getting closer to the finish line of finishing these, and the first one up is going to be Carrie Soto is back. So according to this, I am 250 pages into it. I have been listening to this one predominantly just on the audiobook. I was listening to it when I was doing my journal, which I didn't finish doing. I need to like sit down for a moment and think over how I want to lay everything out, because the way that I did like the characters, if anybody cares about this, I think I did them too big, and so the little circles that I wanted to put around them is making them even bigger. So I need to like figure out how I want to do that layout. It's probably gonna be like 2 pages, but yeah, I took a pause because also I need to work out as well and be back and done with that by 7 o'clock. So I had to just go ahead and stop, but I made a lot of progress in this book because I was working on my little journal spread that I was doing there. And yeah, I have just been loving this so much. Like the pacing is perfect. Our girl is now officially competing, so we've been watching her compete against the other tennis stars and hearing about like the effects that it's having on her body, how she's now thinking of tennis a little bit different because she is older now and she's kind of trying to savor some of the moments that she usually just brushed off. Also, like that girl just had like this whole moment with her dad as well about just discussing like what winning means to her, and like how like emotionally tied up in like all of this he is as well, because like even if he's okay that she lost, it still like guts him so much seeing how bad she takes her loss. And so I just thought that scene was so beautiful as well in this, and it was so heartbreaking to see it, but you can really kind of get like that perspective of like what it means to be a parent of an athlete as well, because he's also her coach, but we get to see like that softer side of him as like her parent, who isn't just always pushing her as a coach to go 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 go. There is a little romance blooming in this as well, and you know your girl's always happy when a little romance pops his head out, so I am enjoying that as well. But like this has just been a great time. It's a lot of like tennis talk here and there because her dad's her coach. She's like in her head talking about it, so you do hear a lot about it. I think I said in the beginning like, oh, you know, it's a lot of tennis talk, but don't worry, but like also it is a lot of tennis talk. I'm just, as far as I am into this book, it's a lot of tennis talk, but I feel like it's just digestible the way that it's being presented. Like, I don't feel like I'm reading a tennis instruction book. I feel like I'm reading a book about a tennis player type of thing. And so I'm loving that because it's getting documentary feels for me. I love sports documentaries. I probably watch more sports documentaries than I do actual sports games. But I'm always interested in the player behind the game, and that is like what this book is giving us. It's like the player behind these huge titles that she's won, this huge legacy that she has. And we also dive into like brands and why they choose to work with people and how they will like drop certain people if their images are getting in the way that they do not want them to be, because their whole job is to try to have the best market their stuff. So that's been sprinkled in here and there as well, but I have been enjoying that, and it's just been overall a good book. Like, I know in the beginning I was like, oh, I just feel like she's just gonna come back and she's gonna win everything, but you know, Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid said, it's not gonna be that easy. Like, I'm going to make this like realistic as possible. Our girl's gonna get hurt, her competitors are gonna get hurt, people are gonna come back, people are gonna quit. Like, it has just been all around just a good time, and I've just really been enjoying this. I will say, like, the formatting of this is similar to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, in the way that we had like those articles that were being done in Evelyn, and there was like newscasters, there was tabloids, there were social media posts. The same thing is going on with this. We're getting like media posts, we're getting like little interviews, we're getting podcast snips and everything of people talking about Carrie Soto and her return back. So I have been enjoying that touch. And if you're listening to like the audiobook, they'll change like the narrator's voice, or they'll put like theatrical music like dun 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 dun, welcome back to the, like, so it's been fun. I have really been enjoying that. I feel like it just makes it an even more immersive book. But like, yeah, I've just really been enjoying this so much. I have no clue like what I would rate this. Like, to be honest, like, I don't know what I would rate this as, because yeah, I just don't know where my rating will stand at the moment. I've really been enjoying it, but like, I don't know if I'm like screaming over it. Like, I also, Libby, I have like one more day with this book with Libby, so I also feel like that's why I've been able to just like sit down and like crank this out a lot, is because Libby is also telling me like, girly, you only have one day left with her and then she's gonna go. So I'm just like, I don't know, I haven't had a moment away from this book to be like, do I really want to get back to her? Is it calling my name? So I don't know, it's just gonna be really interesting to see like my final rating is gonna be for this book, because I don't know. All I know is that like I am enjoying it, and my buddy has been enjoying it as well, and so that's always good as well. Like, the both of you vibing with the book, like, this always means like a good time. But yeah, that is my update for this one. I think potentially maybe I might be able to finish this one tomorrow. Like I said, I do want to finish it on the audiobook, but if the audiobook winds up getting taken back by Libby before I can finish it, that's okay. I'll just like finish reading it physically. But yeah, I do hopefully will be finishing this as well. Oh, almost forgot, I like put this down, but she also, and I love this because like it's kind of like a multiverse that she's creating here, or is that the right word? I don't know if it's the right word or not, but she also referenced Evelyn Hugo. Her ex-husband has been mentioned, and I think it's like Mick Rivera. He was mentioned in here. And then she also, Carrie also mentioned like Daisy Jones in The Sick. She mentioned like they had a documentary coming out, or this was like an unedited something, but she mentioned them in this as well. So I thought that was really cute. I was like, not her mentioning like the other girlies. Okay, but back to Happy Place. So I have been listening to this one on audio. I haven't made as much progress because this is kind of like a solo read. I'm not like reading with a buddy, so buddy reads always take priority, and I am only on page 105 of this one so far. And before I even forget, I feel like she mentioned the characters of Beach Read but didn't say their names. I think they were mentioned in here. She said something like they went to this used bookstore, and when they went to the used bookstore, one of the characters, like, they picked up the book, and she said, oh, this is about this guy and this girl. They like wrote a book together, and usually like he writes something off the wall, and she usually writes romance fluffy stuff, and I feel like that's what the two authors in Beach Read are. I feel like they were like, she wrote romances and then he wrote like off the wall things, so I feel like they were referenced in this book. If so, how cute. And I love that for the girlies who have already read Beach Read and then was reading Happy Place and they saw them. I was like, how cute. But back to Happy Place. This is so good. I have really been enjoying this so much. They still hate each other. We're 100 pages in. They're still hating each other, but just the more we get to know them as characters, I've just really been enjoying that. And then just like the whole friend group as a whole and how much they love each other and how much they care for each other, I've really been just loving watching that grow as well, because some of them knew each other all the way back in the day when they first started undergrad, and then now they're all like in the midst of their careers as well. So it's just interesting to see how like it evolved and how they were able to stay connected, and just like how important like friendship is, because our girl was like, she didn't have friends like this when she was supposed to have like friends like this. Like in high school she didn't have any or anything like that, but it was when she went off to college she met these people who they would have never crossed paths anyway if they were not in the same dorm room together. So it's just been like really sweet watching that unfold. I will say one thing about this is I would love to get like the perspective of our leading guy. I feel like I'm just spoiled in like dual POVs, that when I don't get a chance to spend with the other leading character in a romance, I feel kind of stuck in viewing them from her eyes. And right now she hates him, but in the past like she's in love with him, so you're kind of like constantly like liking and disliking, liking and disliking. And I feel like if we were able to get like his perspective, we could like him more. You know, because right now I'm like, I don't know, girl, he's not that guy no more that he used to be. This is who he is. So I really wish we would have had like more, but you know, wishes, whatever, who cares? I gotta work with what we have and this is what we have. But overall I have really been enjoying it. Like I said, I haven't made too much progress, and I think I'm going to table this one at the moment just because I'm having 2 audiobooks going on right now, and we have like so many characters, so it's easy for things to get muddled a little bit or for me to like forget certain things. So I am gonna like table this one for the moment. Like I haven't picked it up in like a good minute, so I am gonna table this one until I finish Carrie's Soto, so I can like actually remember these characters a little bit better. Because when I opened this to like figure out what page I was on for y'all, like I was like, wait, who are these characters again? And I feel like, yeah, that happens when I'm reading a bunch of books at the same time. The characters' names will easily be forgotten for me, and then I have to remember them again and remember how they look and everything. I don't know, it's just something that happens with audiobooks. I don't know if it happens to anybody else with audiobooks, but for me that happens. I just feel like because I are watching TV shows and there's characters' names that you have to remember, like then you're reading books and there's characters' names you have to remember, then you're playing a game and there's characters' names that you have to remember. So you just have like so many names in your head as a sound or a voice that like it's easier for me to forget who they are because I'm not looking at it in written form, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is my brain. If I hear too many names, it's hard for me to remember them. But yeah, I will just be pausing this until I can finish Carrie Soto, which will hopefully be very soon, because I do want to finish this one soon because it is like summer, and then well the last bit of summer we have, because I do want to finish reading Beach Read within like the summer vibes as well. Okay, and the last pink book we have up is going to be The Partner Plot. So I did make a little leeway with this one. Oh my goodness, I'm almost like the same with both of these. And I made it to chapter 11. So like I mentioned, I believe in my previous clip, she's in Vegas, they've seen each other, and now we get to the moment where they get married, which really wasn't what I expected. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that whole play down, roll down, fall down didn't go like I expected, and I was a little sad. Like I texted my buddy and I was like, is what happened, and they felt the same way as I did. But like as you keep on going on, it kind of makes a little bit more sense, because I was like, well, how is certain things gonna happen then? But if you continue on, like things do make a little better sense of like how it wound up playing the way that it played. And so I was like, how is that girl ever gonna cross paths with him too? Because he is a high school teacher in New Jersey, and she's bouncing back and forth between New York and LA. But girly pop did something to her ankle, and so she's having to go back to her hometown. So I am really excited about that, because who lives in her hometown? Our leading man does. So I am really excited about that as well, because now I feel like, okay, now we're getting some real tension is going to start happening, because she can't avoid him anymore. And so we're getting also closer to the halfway point in this book. And usually if you're a romance reader, once you get into the halfway point, they usually become like official or very close to being official. So I am really excited about that. But yeah, that's like my only update about this one, is I'm enjoying it. Like she's delivering. Like Kristina Forrest, like I can't believe it took me this long to pick her up. These are the only ones that she has like published with a publication company. So I don't know if I'm going to go back and read like, or see honestly if she has any backlist to check out, because I don't know, sometimes what they're giving now completely different than what they would have given in the past. I've been learning that with Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. I went through her backlist after reading what's going on now, and it just wasn't hitting the same, and so it made me question her. But then like Carrie Soto is like clearing that up for me. So it's the same thing with Kristina Forrest, except for I don't have a lot of other books that are currently out of her, so I don't want to mess up a good thing that's going on. So I'm probably not going to pick up her backlist. I don't know. Ugh, this is so difficult, but I have just been really enjoying this, and it's making me want more of her work. And so I would say like my plan, now that I read like so much like Carrie, Soto, and just everything, I need to read some more of the partner plot tonight. But I'm gonna do like a little breaky break in between the reading and read saga. Oh my goodness, why is this flopping so much? I do not want any creases, because I already have like a crease right there that I don't even know where it like came from. But one thing about me and my graphic novels, I like them in a pristine condition. Like I am very picky. Like we do not fold any corners of them. I don't want any dents or nothing. I want them as pristine as possible, because they're such like a work of art. Like look at the cover, it's such a work of art, and I just like, I gotta make sure it stays good. Okay, but yeah, I think I'm gonna read saga 2 and then some more of the partner plot to reach that goal as well. But yeah, and I'm just gonna toggle between the both of those two and just make my focus the partner plot and Carrie Soto Strikes Back as my focus. I can't even think like what all we've read so far. I feel like, oh yeah, at one time I was reading Cross the Line, but Mamacita, she's in the back at the moment, because the other girlies just came through, and I just feel like I'm on like a reading rush. I'm like, I want to read this, I want to read that, I want to read this. But yeah, I feel like once I make my Goodreads goal, actually I feel like my reading like will probably slow down a little bit more, and I'll read more like at a steady pace, like 2 books a week, and not like so chaotic, which I feel like has been like these past few reading vlogs, is me just reading absolutely everything like that my eye catches. So hopefully we'll slow it down a little bit once I meet my Goodreads goal, and I feel like I'm getting pretty close to that anyways, because I also miss like doing other things, y'all. Like I haven't done like a journal spread in forever, because I just haven't carved out the time to actually do it. So I feel like I'm getting back on the horse with journaling, and that's also why I just like took a break to figure out how I want to do these spreads, because it's been so long. And like if you do like creative stuff a lot and you take a break from it, it is a little nerving to get like back into it again, because it's kind of like, do I know what I'm doing? Can I do it? Like you do like yeah. is like you feel like you're starting over from scratch again, and that's kind of how I'm feeling with this. And so I'm like questioning, like, is this spread even cute? Like, do I need to add more? And if more, like, what do I need to add? So I don't know, that's like my little thing. But I really wanted to get back into journaling, and so I'm trying to do like a life journal. I was really excited to see Inside Out 2 like months ago, and I've had that stuff like just there, but I've just been like nervous to actually make a spread because it's been so long, and the longer you wait, the longer it's gonna be. But Miss Carrie Soto, you know, she's inspiring me in like an odd way because she's like putting herself back out there as a tennis player, even though it has been a really long time, and she's putting in the work and she's putting in the training for it, and she is getting better and better. And I'm like, you know what, if Carrie can come back out here, this fictional character can do this, then like I can too. I can get back into journaling, and I don't have to just say that's something that I used to do, because I also want to do some book spreads, which is really making me nervous. It's like the book spreads, because I haven't done one of those in like months as well too. And I've read some books that I really like, but I've just been like, yeah, I don't want to do a book spread because I just haven't done one, and it's so silly in the grand scheme of things. But like, I used to make some really nice spreads, and I'm just kind of nervous that like, can I still make those type of spreads, or like, is my creativity like at a standstill, or like, did I not use it enough so it's not there no more? Like, it's just thoughts. Hopefully one of y'all out there understands what I'm saying about what I'm saying. But yeah, that is my reading update. That's a random little Volume where Alana has just finished reading this amazing book, and she's telling the other guard to like, please read this book. I need you to read it. I will do your work for you if you would just read this book. And then she tells her like, I'm so jealous you get to experience it for the first time. I'm just like, isn't that all readers? You know, when we read a really good book, we're just like, please read this book. Like, drop everything. I will handle it for you. Read this book. And it's always like, so great to recommend a book to someone and know that like they're going to experience it for the first time. Their shocks are going to be for the first time. They're going to fall in love with these characters for the first time. They're going to read all of these iconic lines for the first time. It's so great because you get to like watch them fall in love with these characters in the story. I felt that. I felt that for sure when she said that. I'm like, that's literally the joys of being a reader, like, honestly. But let me get back to read it. So I am back with another reading update because I was able to finish a book and I have some updates on the other books I was reading. Just realized like my little thing is still playing, so you're like hearing birds. Okay, so you will hear birds chirping in the background. So the first book up that I finished is going to be Saga Volume 2, and yes, another 5-star, another great reread. Y'all, I just forget how emotional this series can be. Like, it's just so good. I love it so much. I want to like tell y'all more so bad, but I feel like it'll be spoilery if I do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put up like a spoiler warning. These will be like very soft spoilers, nothing big, but I just have to talk about it. So his parents are now on the ship with them, and I am just loving it so much. Like, I love that the fact that his parents have came there, and then we get to know a little bit more history about who he is and where he came from and why he's the type of person that he is. And then we had some background information as well of like how him and Alana met and like how this book means so much to them and how it kind of led to them running away together. So I've just been enjoying that so much. And then like his parents, like their whole thing, it is like super sad. There's like a very sad moment that happens in this book as well, but you can just really see like how he wound up the way he is and like how much his parents like love him so much. He is an only child too, so it's kind of like he is their complete world. And just watching like in these few moments that we've been having with them and watching that be expressed to them and them understanding like how much he could love Hazel, even though they're like, how could you have a baby with the enemy? But just like those dynamics playing out and everything, it just makes me so happy. And it's also just so emotional because of the way this is being like played out too. Also, you can just tell that like the publishers, they just say, you know what, y'all do whatever you want, make this into whatever you want. Because I mean, you could just tell that they're getting like all of their ideas, like anything that pops into their head or any like good idea, or like this crazy character, or like what about if we created a character that looked like this, and what if like this planet was actually an egg about to hatch. Like, it's just, you can tell that they just gave them free reign to just create anything and everything that comes to mind. The fact that one of the leading characters is like a robot, like a TV robot man, where his head is a television, but we're just like, who cares? Let's vibe. You need to get back home to your baby, sir. Like, it's just, you can tell like this was a heart project per se. Like, this was a creative mind project. This was, they officially let us take control. Let's just write our wildest dreams into this, and you can just tell like it's there, and I just like enjoy it so much. Like, I love when you can read something and you can tell that these people had like the opportunity to just really express things the way that they wanted to express it, tell the story the way that they wanted to tell the story, create these characters into who they want to be. Like, there's moments when you can read a book and you just know like, okay, this was a heart project, this was a free reigns project, and that is exactly what Saga is giving me, which makes me nervous for the volumes that precedes volume 10, because there was like this huge thing where they were saying like volume 10 or volume 11 was going to be the last one, like they were going to be wrapping up the series, and then it's like they're going on for 14 more volumes now. And so that's just giving me the vibe that like maybe publishing is pushing them to do more volumes, because it has been just so amazing. So I am a little nervous about that, but y'all, these volumes though, stunning. I can't wait to pick up volume 3, but I've been going back and forth, so I'll actually pick up I Hate Fairyland's volume 3 first and finish this one, and then I'll pick up that one, volume 3. I just been kind of like bouncing back and forth between them, because if I binge straight through this, I'm going to be sobbing over Saga. Like, I remember the things that happen in these common volumes, and I will be crying if I was just to like sit there and binge completely through this. So that's why my next graphic novel I'll be picking up will be volume 3 of I Hate Fairyland. A girl gotta like pace herself. But with that being said, I do have another book that I'm getting pretty close to finishing, and that is going to be Carrie Soto is Back. I am on page 310. There's 360 pages in this. I was going to postpone doing my reading update until I finish this book, but I realized like I may be done reading for today. I have some errands that I need to run, so I was like, let me just go ahead and update the girlies on what I've been reading so far. And I have just been loving the evolution of Carrie Soto. We've been just watching her fall back in love with this game again. For the first time ever, she's like actually smiling while she is playing this game. We're watching her like actually re-examine the pre-existing relationships that she has, like with her manager, with Bo, with her dad, and we're watching her like decide to like see these in a different light and see like how have I been like holding these back or blocking them from blooming into something else. So I really just been enjoying watching her self-discovery as not only an athlete but like as a woman as well, and just thinking like how much of my life have I just made tennis when I could have had the opportunities to just like be somebody's friend as well, and not just be a tennis player and a daughter. I could have been a friend, I could have been a lover, I could have been the one that stayed. So I have just been loving watching her kind of have this moment of reflection with herself and being able to see all these things. And I love that the people who love her, how they respond when she has these moments. Like she was telling her manager Gwen, she was like, I love you and you are like my best friend, and I'm so sorry I've made it so hard to deal with me. And like Gwen just tells her, you're not hard to deal with at all. Like, Carrie, you talk too bad about yourself. Like, you view yourself in such a negative light that I cannot see you in. And I'm just like, oh, we love it. Like, I just love that so much, because we're really seeing like Carrie has like a very harsh view of herself, and the media also contributes to that as well. But sometimes she's just so focused on the negative views that the media is portraying her as, that she forgets that there are people who love the way that she plays, who thinks that the names that they call her are not right. She has prominent people in the media who are on her side, and I just feel like that's just like a great testament, just not only as athletes but like as people in general, like just being able to be more receptive of the negativity and oftentimes let the positive comments fall to the wayside. So I just really liked that was addressed as well, and that those positive comments were also motivational to her and a reminder that like some people aren't gonna like you, some people are, but it doesn't define who you are. And so I really appreciated her hearing that, and just being able to say that like the people's opinions who matter are the people who love you and have always been there with you. And so I just been enjoying that so much. Like, Carrie, this girl, like I was not gonna read her. Like, I literally, y'all, for the longest was like, oh, I can't believe I just like bought this book. I'm not probably gonna read it, but here I am, loving it, vibing with it, so happy about it. I also feel like I really love Carrie Soto because she's like no character that Taylor Jenkins Reid has ever written before. So like, you have like these powerful women, I feel like, are displayed in every single last one of her books. Like, all of them are supposed to be like these strong leads, these women who like really took their life in their own hands and tried to make something out of it. They all have those traits to them, but I just feel like Carrie is not done in like, not a cliche way, but not in that signature Taylor Jenkins Reid's way. Like, sometimes I can literally find the same woman in all three of those, but I cannot find her in Carrie Soto, if that makes sense. Hopefully that is making sense. But that's why I feel like I really love Carrie so much, because I feel like she really stretched herself and created like a different type of strong woman, if that makes sense. Like, it's hard to explain, y'all, but needless to say, I have been enjoying this, and I will have a final rating once I finish this in the next like 50 pages. So probably tomorrow I'll be able to finish this and give y'all like my final rating update for this. And so the other book I've been reading is going to be The Partner Plot. We are officially halfway, y'all. I'm officially, maybe not halfway, but like halfway in the grand scheme of it all. And our goal is to read to like chapter 20, so I think I may be able to get there before I end this vlog. But yeah, so everybody knows that they are married now. The secret's out. Everybody knows that they are married, but our girl is like, wait, in the summary it mentions like how they're going to use this for their advantage. So we officially gotten to the point where they're like, okay, so who knows the truth, who we're going to tell the truth to, and who we're going to fake it for. So that has officially been laid out for them. Also, our girly pop had been staying with her sister, but now that the word's out that they're married and stuff, she's like, I guess I gotta like move in with you now. And I'm just like, I'm so excited, because now they're forced to like interact with each other. They're forced to talk to each other, and they've already had a moment when they were like sitting at the table and they kind of just started talking to each other about what their jobs are right now and like how they feel about the careers that they're in. So I'm already like, let's get emotional. I am ready. I'm so ready for this. I'm so excited. I will say one thing about like our guy, he is like very hard on himself because like his whole like basketball career thing, like he's a teacher now, but those weren't his original goals when he was growing up. Like, he wanted to be an NBA player. He had all these dreams of being an NBA player, and he's been like very hard on himself. Like, every time he thinks about Violet and her career, he thinks of how much like of a failure he is and how he hasn't been able to achieve what he wants to achieve. So I feel bad for him. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no sir, because Violet is so amazed about like just who he turned out to be. The fact that like he loves reading Lord of the Flies, the way that he changed like the whole curriculum for his English classes because he wanted the kids to fall in love with literature, the way he's been helping his team win championships. Like, our girl is just like in so much awe of like how he's like turned into. And so just watching him be like so hard on himself while Violet's just like, you're doing a thing over there, I'm just like, the whole time. But yeah, needless to say, that's like a very brief update with this one. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so much. They are officially living in the same place together because they're married, so I'm really excited about that as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting how I wrap this up because I feel like I'm already losing track of everything I have read, because I put some things on pause and then I'm like moving fast forward with some other things. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting how I like wrap this up. I'll have to go through my Goodreads and see like what all have I been reading or touched or put up or put down throughout this, so I could do a proper wrap up. But we'll have another reading update prior to like a full wrap up. But yeah, that is my update at the moment, and I'll check back in with y'all later. Hi y'all, so I'm back with another reading update. So I know I was supposed to give y'all like another like brief update prior to this one, but your girl just got really busy, so this is actually going to be the final reading update for this vlog, and I am really excited because I was able to finish reading Carrie Soto, which is right here. So I officially finished reading this book. It was so good. I enjoyed this so much. I feel like this is the Taylor Jenkins reads that I know, and I'm just so excited to continue on with this one. I feel like it was a 10 out of 10. It is just so stunning. I enjoyed this so much. I just really feel like we got to see a whole character arc with Carrie, like from who she is in the beginning to who she winds up being at the end is so stunning. Like the side characters in this as well, from her dad Bo and her biggest rival Nikki Chan, which is the reason why she did decide to come back. Like all of these characters are like so well rounded within themselves too, and we get to see like the evolution of her relationship with her dad too, between the two of them, and like how they transition from like father and daughter to being like coach and player, and then them finding their footings again later on as like father and daughter, and then back to coach, and like finding that balance. I thought this was just so well done, and you really see like the struggles between like being a professional athlete, when can you let go, like watching like your records like slip away, and like what does it mean to like be an athlete, and like how do you be okay with like certain things. So I just feel like this was just so well rounded. It talked about so many things, and I just really enjoyed this a lot. I would say out of 5 stars, I give this like, I know it just feels like I'm so stingy with my 5 stars, but I give this like a 4.75 for me. I just don't know what was missing, but I just feel like something was missing for me. But I don't think it'll be missing for everyone. If you can like digest tennis really well, or like you don't mind like a lot of tennis talk in the way that it's presented in this way, I feel like you'll enjoy it. But it's just, I don't know what's stopping me from giving that 0.25, but something is just like, you can't give it that 0.25, you know, type of situation. So that's just a me thing. But on Goodreads it's gonna say 5 stars, so that's the important thing, right? Like it's on Goodreads, she is a standing 5 star. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, and I think I have like 2 more Taylor Jenkins reads books to read, and then I would have read all of her things, all of her backlists as well. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, so that is it for today. So let me do like a whole mini little wrap up here. I have to like bring out my Goodreads and see what all I read, because I feel like I've been just like all over the place with reading in this. I feel like we started some things that we didn't finish, and then we picked up a lot of things that we did wind up finishing. So let's go with the books that we did finish. So it was I Hate Fairyland Volume 1. We finished that one. It was a reread. I really liked it. I'm going to go ahead and let it keep its 5 stars from when I first read it. I feel like overall it's still pretty good. I mean, if I had to deduct something, it may become like a 4.75, but I'm just going to let her reign where she is reigning. The other book that we read is going to be Saga Volume 1. Absolutely love Saga. I feel like it's such an amazing fantasy graphic novel. The storyline, these characters, like it's so well done, and you can just tell that like this is a passion, heart, let your creativity run wild book. So I definitely gave this one 5 stars as well. And then there is I Hate Fairyland Volume 2. So I wound up giving this one 3 stars. I don't know if I said that in my previous one, or maybe I kept it like a different one, but after I sat with this a little bit more, I was like, Volume 2 deserves like a 3. I felt like, I know the pacing sometimes was like a little off, and it came off sometimes a little repetitive, so it wasn't the strongest follow-up to what we were given in the first one. But I just feel like that cliffhanger in the first one was so good that it was really hard for it to follow up on. But yeah, so that was that. And then I read Saga Volume 2. Absolutely love that one as well. It will remain a 5 star too. It followed up really great on its cliffhanger, because it had a cliffhanger in Volume 1, and in Volume 1 it's kind of like what just happened, but I feel like they were able to really follow up with their cliffhanger really well, a lot better than volume 2 of I Hate Fairyland. And then, as mentioned, the last book we finished was Carrie Soto is Back. So we finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in this reading vlog, so that is actually really stunning. We also picked up some other books in this as well, the first one being The Partner Plot. I know I had like a goal of reading to chapter 20, but life was lifing and I just did not get a chance to make it to chapter 20, which is fine. My buddy didn't read any either, so we were on the same wave when it came down to reading. So I didn't finish that one in this vlog, so you'll probably see it in another vlog very soon, because I will be starting another one shortly. And the other book that we had was going to be Happy Place. Like I mentioned, I have been loving this so much. I just had to put this on the back burner for the time being because I was listening to another audiobook and your girl, like the characters and everything was getting mixed up, so I just said pause, break, stop. We're going to go ahead and pick this one up later, but yeah, I started this one and I really like it a lot and I'm excited to continue on with it. And the last book that was started in this vlog, that's potentially going to see another one as well, is going to be Across the Line. So I wind up not making it very far in this one, but I hope to continue on with it some more in an upcoming vlog. It was just like our leading guy for some reason. It was taking me some time to like settle in with him, but I feel like if I read a little bit more, maybe I'll be able to settle in a little bit better with him, because I am interested in like a Formula One romance. I think that's just like a romance genre character type situation that I've never read, so I am interested in that and hopefully like learning a little bit more about Formula One, because I didn't know there was a Formula 2 and 3. So like it's a whole thing that I'm interested in. And I also want to know like why is it like so different from like NASCAR? I know the vehicles are different and everything, but like which is like more dangerous of a sport or whatever? Formula 1, 2, 3 or NASCAR? I don't know, but I am interested in continuing this one as well. That is my final reading update and the end of this vlog. If you made it all the way to the end, please feel free to leave behind this emoji to let me know that you did. If you want to follow me on any of my other socials, I will have them linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you back. We do a lot of reading over here, some more chit chats, a little bit more life is coming through on the vlogs as well, so I will be happy to have you back here. But yeah, until next time, y'all. Bye.